Hello, and welcome to another video on the game CuVRball. If you're not familiar with the game of CuVRball, it's basically Rocket League with grenade launchers and in VR. Very similar to Rocket League, it's designed for fun, casual gameplay in which you can pick it up, learn quickly, and have fun playing with friends. But there's enough depth to the game and enough skill cap that you can continue playing for a long period of time and enjoy the game for a while. The game is designed for 3v3, but here I'm showing off some alpha footage that we've taken during various alpha tests. Obviously, as you can see, it's still a rough work in progress. Medals need to be added, and things need to be fixed. But it shows the game pretty well thus far and explains the core concepts. I'm currently recruiting for alpha testing still, so if you want to join me and help test the product and make it better, I'd love to have you join us. Please leave a response in the Reddit thread, and I will send you a key. To give a brief summary of the game, there are two teams. Each team is trying to get the ball into their opponent's goal. You do this by flying around in 3D space. Once you pick up the ball, you can then launch it in the direction you wish. You can also put spin on the ball, which will cause it to curve through the air. As the name of the game implies, it is CuVRball. In addition to that, you can also launch energy blasts, much the same way you launch the ball. These blasts can be used to do several things, including to explode and thus knock the ball around. They can be shot at your allies, thus speeding them up, or they can be shot at your enemies, thus slowing them down. If your enemy has the ball and you shoot them with energy blasts, they will drop the ball and spawn back with their own zone. In addition to that, there is boosts along the wall. The boost can be picked up and used to either fly faster or shoot the ball with more velocity. And that's basically the game in a nutshell. As you can see, there's only a couple of simple rules that define how the game is played. However, the combination of these rules and how they interplay with each other creates a lot of depth due to the number of interesting decisions and opportunities that get created. To explain this further, I need to talk more about what makes for interesting decisions and how that affects gameplay. Imagine, for example, a hypothetical VR game. In this VR game, you teleport around with lab-style teleportation, and you have a single pistol which you can use to shoot your opponent. Wide open playing field, no obstacles. If I ask you to make an AI to play this game, you could do it pretty quickly, because the only gameplay is teleport within range and shoot their opponent until they're dead. Now you can add explosions and graphics to make it look cool, but ultimately the gameplay is pretty dull and boring. There's not a lot of decision-making process, it's just very straightforward. Now, for comparison, consider a game like Overwatch. If I asked you to write an AI to play that game without any human assistance, it'd be pretty hard. Because quite often in that game, decisions aren't so straightforward. They are very complicated and depend on a lot of factors. For example, what's the best hero to pick? Depends on your team, depends on your enemy, depends on the map, depends on where the objective is. You know, if you see an opponent hero, do you try to kill him? Well, it depends on where your team is. You know, what abilities you have available, where is the opponent's team, where's the healers, and so forth. As you can see, the game doesn't have a straightforward, yes, no, if, then statement to it. Actually, it's a very complicated setup, which requires you to think about a lot of factors. And thus, it has interesting decisions because the decisions are not straightforward. Also, consider the game Rocket League, a game which in many ways inspired the aspects of CuVRball. In the instance where you are back at your base and you see an enemy coming towards you with a ball, what do? Well, you could go for the ball itself. You could try to get your goal and block the shot. You could go straight for the opponent and try to knock them off course. Or you could leave it to your ally to handle the defense and go on the offense. All of these are valid decisions. They're all options to consider, but what separates the unskilled players from the skilled players is the ability to evaluate the circumstance and determine the best course of action. It allows for interesting decisions in the gameplay because it's not just I block the ball, it's how you block the ball, and where you block the ball, and the technique you use in the process. So, how does CuVRball compare to these games? Well, there are several key features that create for interesting decisions and tactical opportunities, including the movement system. Now, artificial locomotion in VR is a very complicated topic, and I have not completely solved it. But what I have done is put a great deal of effort into making a system that feels responsible and controllable without causing too much nausea. Of people I've had test my game, most are able to adapt in a pretty short period of time. I specifically tuned the acceleration and speed curves to give a very smooth response. In addition to that, I have collision detection algorithms, which will determine when you're about to run into another player or the wall, and smoothly stop you in time, so you don't lurch to a sudden stop and get the nausea that comes with it. This movement system allows for some very interesting interactions between players, in what is known as the footsie battle. Basically, what that means is you can try to force your opponent to make a mistake, and then capitalize on that. For example, you can feign going in one direction. When your opponent then shoots an energy blast at you, you can dodge it by going the opposite direction. Another example, if your opponent has the ball and you're trying to get them to drop it, you could shoot an energy blast at them. But that means that they will just pass the ball to their ally before your blast hits them. If you instead feign the shot, they will then try to pass the ball to their ally, and you can then shoot the ball down in the air. The movement system also adds more complexity to the decision making because it adds more elements to consider. For example, it's not just the player's position that needs to be considered when making a decision, but their momentum as well. Another feature which adds depth to the game is the use of the energy blast. There are many options available. You can hit yourself or your ally to speed up, you can hit your enemy to slow them down, you could use it to hit the boost and bounce it towards you, you could use it to deflect the ball away from your opponent, you could use it to block shots. There are many valid options for how to use the energy blast, and the question is, which one gives you the best effect? That of course depends a lot on the circumstances. Likewise, Speed Boost also offers interesting decision-making opportunities. For instance, if you pick a Speed Boost, do you use it right away, or do you save it for later? Do you use it to increase speed, or do you use it to increase the velocity of the launched ball? Is it better to pick it up, or to wait, to get the speed boost near your goal, near your opponent's goal, or near the middle of the map? And finally, there are all the team-based decisions to make. For example, your tactics when passing the ball forward, positioning of you and your allies. Do you try to block the shots for your allies, or do you try to pass the ball around so another one take shots? There are many opportunities available when you consider team play, so the game can become very complicated when you consider all the various permutations, not just that you make, but your teammates make as well. As you can see, the game of CuVRball, while very simple and straightforward in concept, has a lot of depth to it when you consider all the possible options and the depth of detail that goes into making decisions. I could continue with more examples of the gameplay and the decision-making process that players have, but I think you get the general point. The short version is, it's a fun game. So if you're looking for casual gameplay that just hang out with friends and play, CuVRball has that. If you're looking for depth and a lot of mastery potential, CuVRball has that as well. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to join the alpha and help try out the game and make it better, I'd love to have you. Please leave a comment in the thread and I will send you an alpha key. Thank you for your time.